guys, welcome to Underthinking, the channel where I don't think I'm always overthinking. I think some other people are underthinking. This is a mindset channel. I love to talk about social norms, the words we say, the thoughts we have, how we treat each other, all that kind of stuff. And I just like to give my opinions on certain topics because they fascinate me. Like how we think and how we treat each other fascinates me. And I would always love to hear your opinions as well, so feel free to let me know in the comments. But in today's video is going to be a tiny bit spicy, a tiny bit. In today's video, I want to talk about the idea that not everything is for you. I'm pretty sure I titled this video something like, "This video is not for you," because I want to talk just a little bit, just briefly, about the idea that I think our culture, my opinion, I think our culture has gotten to a level of self-involved and selfish to a certain degree, but definitely self-involved and self-absorbed, that some people, definitely not all, definitely not even the majority, but some people almost seem to get like offended or angry or upset when something is not perfectly catered to them, or when something just does not simply pertain to them. I'm talking about media, videos, Instagram posts, but I'm also talking about like purchasing things or consumer culture or just literally things out day to day. I think that just some people, again, not the majority by any means, but some people almost kind of act like the world revolves around them. And if something does not cater perfectly to them, that it's wrong. And I'm just here to very kindly remind you that there's almost 8 billion people in this world. And so not everything is going to cater to you. Not everything is made for you. Not everything's going to pertain to you. Not everything's going to be in your budget. Not everything is going to be something that you enjoy or that entertains you. I think it would be healthy and helpful to remember that some social media content is not for you. That some brands who sell handbags or sweaters are not for you. And it's okay that they're not for you, because you know what? There almost definitely is something else that is for you. So even if most brands that you see at the mall either don't make clothes that you like, or don't make clothes that are in your style, or don't make clothes within your budget, it does not mean that they're wrong. It just means that they're catering to someone else. It just means that they have a different target audience, you know? It's the same with social media. Like if you see a video that you don't like online, it doesn't mean that the video's wrong. It just means that you can just scroll by and find something else that you do like, because you are allowed to surround yourself with things that you do enjoy and that are within your budget and that do entertain you or that do pertain to you. But it's just everything else that does not pertain to you, that's not in your budget, it's just not wrong. And again, this is a small percentage of people, but I do see it where some people almost get like offended if something's not directly for them or directly praising them or catered to them or designed for them. And it's like, this is a whole world of everyone who has different opinions and different values and different goals in their lives. So like, not everything is going to be catered to you, and that's okay. We don't need to get like offended or upset or angry, or we also just don't need to like think something is stupid. It's just like, you can just think, oh, that doesn't pertain to me, or I'll move on, is I think the healthier way. And again, whether that's content online, whether that's businesses, whether that's stuff to buy, if it's not within your budget, if it doesn't make sense to you, if it doesn't entertain you, if it's not within your goals, then just move on, do something else, you know? And I think it's, again, a little bit different when it comes to morals or something like that, but I'm more talking about basic kind of surface level media, like videos that you like, just online kind of content, stuff like that. And in terms like buying like clothes and stuff, I'm talking more about like surface level stuff. I'm not talking about deeper like moral differences, but let's just, for this video, stay on the topic of, if there is an Instagram post you don't like, you're allowed to just skip over it. It doesn't mean that the person is dumb or stupid or wrong or shouldn't make content. It just means that maybe it's just not for you. And then especially when it comes to purchasing things, this is where I see it the most often. Like for example, if Chanel comes out with a new handbag that might be $11,000, there are so many people who like attack it almost and act like it's too expensive, so it shouldn't exist. When the way that I see it, and I'm curious if you guys agree, again, let me know in the comments, because this is my opinion on this, but how I see it is, if something's out of your price range, whether you cannot afford it at all, like you don't have that money, or it's just not within your budget, or it just doesn't even make sense to you why anyone would spend that money and you wouldn't even if you had the money, whatever it is, it still does not mean that the product is wrong or that the company is wrong. It just means that they're not for you. They have a different target audience. And so sometimes I do see, if Chanel has a new handbag that's $11,000, that some people comment, that's too expensive. I can't believe they'd sell it for that. Why is it so expensive? And they're kind of like putting the blame on the product or the company, when in reality, you're probably just not its target market. So you can just go buy something else. But I just see some people almost get like angry or like offended. And some of that might come from jealousy, honestly. Sometimes when people lash out, it's from jealousy. It's from they wish their lives were different. They're angry at something else, so they lash out. You know, it's not healthy. It's not a good reason, but that is sometimes why they let it happen. They let themselves kind of get angry. But then also sometimes some people might see someone buy a Chanel bag and they might think that that person is dumb because they made a choice that you wouldn't make. And again, I'm not talking about really deep moral choices. I'm talking about buying a purse. It's like, someone wants to buy a purse and you don't even know the person, they're a stranger online. Is that really your concern? And is that really something that you should even let negatively affect you? Because if you're even seeing someone online purchase a purse and you know it's starting to make you angry or jealous or frustrated or any negative emotion, then it might even be healthy to just not even look at that content at all. Because maybe even the person who's buying the purse, maybe that person's content is not even for you. Because like I like to watch some people buy luxury items, even though I don't think I would ever do that, but I still just enjoy kind of watching it sometimes. But if I ever start to feel jealous or if I ever start to feel like entitled, like, oh, I would never spend that money. I can't believe they do. I would never do that. If I ever start to feel any feelings like that, like self-righteous or negative or jealous or they're dumb or they're wrong, if I ever start feeling feelings like that when I am choosing to watch something online or choosing to engage in content, then I am going to stop watching it and potentially unsubscribe. Because why? Why do people allow that? It's very interesting to me because I think it's unhealthy. I think if you're looking at content, again, whether it's you're subscribed to like Target's email list, but half the emails they send make you angry for some reason, then why are you subscribed to it? But it's the same with YouTube. It's the same with if every time you go into Nordstrom, you get mad at the prices, then just don't go. I think that some people almost like to be self-righteous or like to act like they're high and mighty and, oh, well, I would never spend that money. That's too expensive. That brand is ridiculous because they're so expensive. Now, the brand's just not for you. That's literally all it is. The brand's just not for you. They're for someone else who thinks it's okay to spend that money on whatever product it is. I see it a lot too with like handmade goods, small business stuff, even like coaching and people who are selling online coaching or online courses. And so if you are selling handmade goods, the prices are going to be a little bit higher or a lot higher than at Target. For when it comes to, again, people who are making online courses or who are doing coaching, someone might offer coaching, like say business coaching, right? And they might say it's $1,000 a month and I'll talk to you for an hour a week. Some people might be like, so I'm paying you $250 to talk to you for an hour a week? That's too expensive. That's ridiculous. How dare you charge that much? But then other people are going to think, that's a reasonable price. You have spent years growing your own brand and your own business. And so this is the amount that you believe that you're worth. And I've seen your results with other people and that is worth it to me. And that makes sense for me in my business and what I'm willing to spend on myself with the coaching that I want to get. Then there are also even going to be some people who are like, only $250 for an hour? That's really cheap compared to the other coaches I've had in the past. Just because it's not in a price range that you might spend does not mean it's wrong. It just means it's not for you. It's for someone else. You're just probably not their target market. Because honestly, anyone who is making a good or service, if anyone complains about their price, literally all they know is that it just means that that product is not for you. That's it. That's it. You are not their target market. But I just see sometimes people get angry or again, like self-righteous almost or offended. I can't believe that person would charge $250 an hour for their coaching. How dare they? Why do they think that they're so good at what they do? Well, because they probably are. It's similar to like, I heard a story recently, I think, and I don't even know the exact story, but I know the idea of it. So I'm going to kind of switch it up a little bit. But it was like a plumber went to someone's house and did 10 minutes of work and charged $70. And the person's like, why are you charging $70 for 10 minutes of work? And it's like, well, I'm not. I'm charging for my expertise. I'm charging for all the years of practice that I've had and all the knowledge that I have that you don't have. And that's why you called me. And so it's not just charging for your hourly rate or just charging for the exact work you're only going to do with that person or the exact purse that you made by hand. It's charging for you learning it, that you have an expertise in it, and that you have spent all this other time and effort learning something that these other people don't know. And so that's why you can charge more. And there are some industries that the cheaper it is, you wouldn't even trust the person enough because you might just be like, oh, wait, that plumber would only charge me $20. Are they actually even really a plumber? Like, I don't know, you know? So sometimes we almost see a lower value as just not as good as something that might not be as good as something that's higher. You know what I mean? But again, sometimes people don't see it that way because they almost want to be angry at a price, or they want to be angry that something was not made for them perfectly. And it's like, guys, like, this is the harsh part. Just get over yourself. And again, I never act like I'm perfect at any of this stuff. Of course not. It's just more like this idea in general, like not everything is for you. I think it's just a good thing to remind yourself sometimes. And again, I do think this is a small percentage of people, but I am curious if you've ever felt this before. I think there's just a difference between seeing an $11,000 Chanel bag and being like, oh, that's pretty, but I wouldn't buy it. Versus, I can't believe they charge that much money. How dare they? It probably only cost them $50 to make. What is wrong with them? Blah, blah. There's a difference there. And it's like letting the price of a Chanel handbag cause you any negative emotion, I just think is pointless, honestly. Like, I don't mean to be harsh. I just kind of like want to do some of these mindset videos because I think, my personal opinion, that changing our mindset to not everything is for us. If someone wants to buy a Chanel bag, even if I don't agree with it, they're a stranger, so it should not really cause me negative emotion. Again, I'm talking about handbags. I'm not talking about other like really big things in our lives because that's a little bit different to me. If we're talking about political issues, social issues, certain things like that, I do understand why someone having a different opinion might bother you. I get that. But again, that's not what this video is about. We're not going to talk about that in this video. This video is more, if someone has a video on Instagram about cooking and you don't like what they're cooking, you don't need to watch the video. Like, you don't need to leave a negative comment. You don't need to watch the video. You don't need to complain about it. You don't need to do any of that. You can just keep going. And another step, which would be even more amazing, would be you can even say, hey, I know that's not for me, but good on that person for actually putting effort into making a video because they know that that takes a lot of time and effort. Good on them, and actually wishing that person well. And then you scroll on by. That might be asking too much from some people for the first step, but the first step can just be simply scrolling by. And again, this video is definitely not for everyone because most people don't do this. Most people will just see an expensive handbag and they might be like, oh, I wish I could buy that, but I can't right now. And then they'll just move on. So it doesn't really cause them any negative emotion. They just kind of move on. But there are just some people who are going to see it and then like get angry. And so it's like, if you are one of those people, which I know it would be hard to admit, honestly, I think that most people who are those people would have a hard time admitting it. I really do. But if you are one of those people, and if you can do the work, I know it's hard, but if you can do the work to even just admit it, you know what? I do kind of get mad sometimes when I see content that I don't like. Maybe I can just see if I can scroll by. If you can admit it and then put just the tiniest bit of effort in it, I think it would be more beneficial for you. I really do. I think you'd be calmer and like more joyful. I really do. Because focusing on the negative and then letting it like affect you. Again, I'm talking about surface level negative here, but if you're just like letting it affect you negatively, it's just unnecessary, I think. And I do think it could potentially become unhealthy. But I do think that our mindset on most things really matters. And any like self-righteous attitude, I generally will think is very unhealthy. It's very different than being confident. Those are different things. But that self-righteous, putting other people down, trying to make yourself seem really like great at everything, or trying to make it seem like everything needs to cater to you, that kind of stuff, I just think is a little gross. Honestly, I do. And again, I don't think it's the majority of people by any means. But I do see it sometimes where people are making fun of other people's prices or whatever. And it's like, instead of doing that, you just don't need to buy it. You can go look for something else and that's okay. It's okay. But you just don't need to like verbally attack. Even if it's Chanel, you might be like, oh, well, it doesn't matter. They're a huge corporation. So it doesn't matter if I make fun of them. Yes, it does. Because it doesn't matter if they see it or not. It matters what you are putting into the world. And it matters what you are letting happen in your head. I think that stuff matters a lot. So even if you are writing a comment to someone or you are literally sending an email to Chanel to complain, it literally does not matter if the person reads it or not. It matters that it just came out of your mouth or out of your fingers. You don't need to be spreading negativity like that. You really don't. Especially again, when it's so unnecessary on this surface level stuff. Because what you could have done is just not purchase the item and then just moved on with your life. That's okay to do as well. And you get to decide what you spend your money on. You get to decide what you think is interesting or important. You get to decide those things, of course. You get to decide what you surround yourself with. But the things that aren't for you, it does not mean that they're wrong or dumb. It just means that they're not for you. So again, even if you don't agree with what they're doing with their company, okay, then you just don't buy from them. Simple as that. And if it's something that you think is horrifically morally wrong, again, that's a different topic that I'm not talking about today, but then that might be where maybe you do something, but you still don't attack. The attacking the negativity is never going to be helpful. But anyway, I think that's going to be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I would love to hear your opinions on this, so please let me know in the comments if you've ever done this or if you've just ever seen other people do this or just what your opinion about the topic is overall. I would love to hear. But yeah, I guess that's going to be it. Thanks again for watching, and I hope that you have a wonderful day. Bye.